I would like to note that our interpreter for this evening is Lalo Jaramillo. Please raise your hand, oh, there he is, and ask him for any listening device if you would like interpretation services. Antes de llamar a la Junta Orden, me gustaría notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta y el señor Jaramillo está ahí atrás. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of October 21, 2025. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Soto.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Here.
Mayor Patino.
Here. City Attorney Mr. Watson, would you please give the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. With respect to items 3A and 3B, instructions were provided to council in the case. With respect to item 3C, discussions were with the labor negotiators rather than legal negotiators, as was noted by the clerk. With respect to item 3D, instructions were again provided with legal counsel. And in the interest of time, 3E would be continued to the next meeting.
Thank you. We will now be presenting proclamations. And a proclamation for, let's see, a World Polio Day. And who will be reading that?
Polio Day.
Oh, Councilmember Flores.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It says, whereas Rotary International and the Rotary Clubs of the Santa Maria Valley and Napomo have been engaged in a 37-year campaign to eradicate polio worldwide, and whereas Rotary brings 120 years of history to the initiative, its members are businesses, professionals, and community leaders who provide humanitarian service, encourage high school ethical standards, and help build goodwill and peace in the world. Over 35,000 Rotary clubs located in more than 200 countries and geographically areas build coalition initiative service projects to address today's challenges, including illiteracy, disease, hunger, poverty, lack of clean water, and environmental concerns. And whereas Rotary begins its mission, more than 350 children in 125 countries were stricken with polio every year, and nearly 1,000 people were affected by the crippling disease every day. Since then, polio cases have been reduced by over 99% to only 14 new cases in 2024. And whereas today in only 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan, remain polio endemic due to the efforts of Rotary and its partners. The world is on its threshold of ending polio forever, making it only the second disease after smallpox. And whereas public awareness, advocacy, and funding remain crucial to Rotary and to its partners, the World Health Organization, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and UNICEF. Now, therefore, I, Alice Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaim October 24, 2025 as World Polio Day. Accepting the proclamation for World Polio Day is Leonard Chapman, my friend from the Rotary.
Mayor Patino, City Council, City staff, thank you for this opportunity to be here and accept this proclamation. Nice seeing you. It is nice to look around the room and see some old familiar faces, and I say old with the most endearing term possible. I'm with the Santa Maria Breakfast Rotary. I also represent the 3 Rotary clubs in Santa Maria and Napomo. We, as assistant governor, and there are many members here in the audience and on the dais that are Rotary members. And if I may, I'd like to have all those members raise their hand. If you're part of a Rotary club, thank you so much for being here and supporting this great proclamation. And for those of you that did not raise your hand, come see me after the meeting and I'll help sign you up for Rotary. Rotary has a long-standing history of serving the Santa Maria Valley. One of our clubs has been around for over 100 years, and they affectionately refer to themselves as the Rotary Club of Santa Maria. Yeah. Not only do we support community projects, other nonprofits, veterans, educational scholarships, and so much more, we support global efforts in eradicating polio. In fact, polio is probably our biggest face-fronting and face-front challenging in the world. And so we're known for awareness and education to eradicate polio. There were many highlights in the proclamation. I just wanted to point out that it's amazing where we've come from hundreds of thousands of cases in the world down to 14 cases in 2024. That's amazing. The fight's not over. Through education and awareness in this proclamation, we're grateful for this awareness. We would like to thank Mayor Patino, the members of council, city staff, for bringing this awareness to this devastating disease. And through strong partnerships, we will continue to stay in the fight to eradicate polio in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't think a lot of people really understand how grave polio was. I mean, it makes COVID like nothing, and people were scared out of their minds with that. But polio just devastated our country, and it was just, people were just scared and so frightened. And I can remember my mother would not let me go into a swimming pool swimming, and so it was pretty scary all over the world what it did, and to see a person in an iron lung that many of you have not seen, it was very frightening in communities. And so my hat's off to Rotary. In fact, that's one of the reasons I joined Rotary. I thought any organization that can do what they did is powerful, and God help all of you out there that you, and it's all of you together do so much, because we have the 3 Rotary clubs in Santa Maria. We have Napomo Rotary right up the road, and everyone gets together and works on things together, and we get so much done. So I want to thank all of you.
That's right.
The next presentation, no. The next proclamation is on the Arts and Humanities Month, and Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez will be reading that proclamation.
Whereas the City of Santa Maria recognizes the essential role of the arts and humanities in cultural, educational, and economic vitality, and whereas they provide opportunities for creative expression, foster inclusivity, and celebrate diverse perspectives and traditions, and whereas Santa Maria's vibrant public art program, including murals, sculpture, and cultural programming, enhances civic spaces, promotes dialogue, and beautifies the city, and whereas recent highlights include utility box art, community murals, and integrating art into public spaces such as the Japanese Community Center and the Veterans Memorial Park. And whereas the city remains committed to promoting the arts as vital to youth development, community health, tourism, and economic growth, and whereas October is nationally recognized as Arts and Humanities Month, honoring creative and cultural contributions that shape our collective identity and daily lives. Now therefore, Alice M. Patino, Mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaims October 1st through October 31st, 2025 as Art and Humanities Month in the City of Santa Maria, and encourages all residents to explore, engage with, and support the arts and humanities through participation in events, programs, and partnerships throughout our community. In witness whereof, she has hereunto set her hand and has caused the seal of the City of Santa Maria to be affixed hereto this 21st day of October 2025, and this is going to be accepted by Robert Dickerson.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Patino, council members, and members of the community. It's an honor to accept this proclamation on behalf of the artists, educators, cultural organizations, and community members who champion and support the arts in Santa Maria. As a county arts commissioner and a lifelong supporter of the arts, I've seen how the arts and humanities are more than cultural expressions. They are a reflection of who we are as a community. They tell our stories, give voice to our values, and help us see one another with greater understanding and empathy. Public art in particular has a powerful way of bringing people together. When invested in murals, cultures, and community-based art projects, we're not only beautifying our shared spaces, we're strengthening the sense of belonging and civic pride that connects us. Studies have shown that public art fosters social connection, encourages community gathering, and even contributes to safer, more vibrant neighborhoods. Here in Santa Maria, we've witnessed that firsthand through murals that celebrate our heritage, through the creativity that enlivens our parks and community centers, and through artists who collaborate with residents to transform public spaces into places of meaning. Each project reflects the diversity and spirit of the people who live here. On behalf of the arts community, I want to thank the city for recognizing the vital role that creativity plays in our collective well-being and for continuing to support public art and cultural programs that make Santa Maria such a special place to live. As we celebrate Arts and Humanities Month, I encourage everyone to take part, explore a local exhibit, attend a performance, or simply take a walk and notice the art that surrounds us. These shared experiences remind us that creativity isn't separated from civic life, it is at the heart of it. Thank you, Mayor Patino and council members, and thank you to the City of Santa Maria for your ongoing commitment to ensuring that art continues to inspire, connect, and reflect this wonderful community. Thank you.
The next item is a presentation on the GROW Initiative Cohorts 3's Accesso program. Mark Vandekamp, Public Information Manager, will be giving the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, directors, and members of the community. It is my distinct pleasure this evening to make a presentation about GROW Cohort 3 with some PowerPoint slides, of course, and we'll be following this with a group photo in front of the dais right up here. Cohort 3's two mentors were myself and Recreation and Parks Department Assistant Director Angela Osland. The city partnered with the University of California, Santa Barbara Professional and Continuing Education Program to offer a professional certificate program on management training for public administrators. From 2023 to 2024, 4 cohorts were held. Known as GROW, this state-funded 15-week program focused on management training and included a capstone project. GROW Cohort 3 had 13 employees. Their names will be appearing on the screen. Many of them are here tonight in the audience with us. This cohort created a capstone project named Access Accesso. This stands for Assist, Connect, Communicate, Engage, Support, Serve. And this program is designed to amplify our existing city communication efforts. It allows trained city staff to actively inform underserved residents about city services through a bilingual mobile ambassador program. Access Accesso would proactively deliver information, as I mentioned, bilingually in English and Spanish about city programs and services. City staff and volunteer ambassadors, as this is envisioned, would be trained to then go in person to locations in each city council district. It would be taking place year-round, run by designated and trained department liaisons, a volunteer coordinator, and volunteer ambassadors. The cohort also developed a tracking and reporting app. That's right, an app, just like you'd see on your phones, for use during in-person interactions. The objective is for Access Accesso staff to enter the names of these residents, where they are, and record the type of information being requested. The information then be summarized in a database. To test the viability of the program, the cohort members staffed a table at 2 different farmers markets right across the street and tracked their interactions with at least 1 bilingual staff member present. In over 2 days, 2 hours per day, there were 92 interactions with 29 of them ending in questions, which is a pretty good rate. people are really interested in what's happening in our beautiful city. And the staff found that these questions ranged from water, downtown plans, recreation registration, recycling, street repairs, and code enforcement. The feedback was very positive, and the success of this test phase highlights the potential of this program to bridge information gaps, further build trust, and strengthen connections between the city and the community. We're very proud of the great work that they all accomplished. Are there any questions before we take a graduation portrait with the mayor?
Any questions at the dais?
Okay. Well, with that, we'd like...
Congratulations. Thank you for
Yes.
that presentation.
Many of them are here in the front row, and I'm inviting them to now stand. They have received their certificates and to walk through the gate. And
Walk through
Madam
the
Mayor, if you'd like to join them, that would be great.
From above. They're not important. Fine. Huh?
So,
The next presentation is on the GROW Initiative Cohort 4's Pause in the Park Capstone Project. Neville Smeta, Business Manager for the Recreation and Parks Department, will be giving the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. As one of the two mentors of Cohort 4, I am pleased to present a summary of the cohort's capstone project titled Pause in the Park.
We need more.
In their group discussions about potential projects, they talked about responsible pet ownership and the need for more community education about pet health and safety. They also found that stakeholders in the pet resources field felt the same way. The purpose of this event is to provide resources and education to promote responsible pet ownership so more pets can stay happy and healthy and with their families. The target audience for this event are current and prospective pet owners in Santa Maria. The event will provide free educational pet health resources, tools to comply with local laws and ordinances related to domestic animals, and resources for responsible and safe pet ownership. There will be pet training and health vendors, local nonprofit organizations, and other animal-related agencies at the event to provide resources and information. Cohort 4 is aiming for late May to early June 2026 for this event. They want to host it prior to the 4th of July holiday to help pet parents ensure their pets are safe during fireworks season. The event will be held at Prescott Park due to its accessibility and size. External stakeholders are going to be integral to this event's success. Aside from residents, nonprofit organizations will be engaged, as well as Allen Hancock College and local businesses, to provide resources and promotional items during the event. Advertising entities will also be engaged to help promote this event. GROW Cohort 4 would like to thank the City Council and City leadership for providing the opportunity for them to come together as a team to create such a meaningful event for our community. This course allowed Cohort 4 to grow and learn about themselves and each other. But most importantly, this course gave them tools to become better leaders, mentors, and project managers. Thank you all for taking the time to be here and for your continued support. And we have, out of our group of 9, we have 6, I think, that are here today, and they have also received their certificates. I want to congratulate them. And I'd like to invite them for the photo.
Thank you very much, and for taking such an interest in our city. We really appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Vandekamp. The next item on the agenda is a public comment period. Madam Clerk, will you please read the criteria?
Yes, speakers may provide public comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for the public comment period. Unless the majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2A2, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Thank you. I have 3 requests to speak here. George Alvarez, followed by Gary Hall, followed by Nash Morano.
It's been a while since I've been here, Mayor.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Alvarez.
How are you?
Good.
A few things I want to mention. One of the things that I think is really important, the importance of the people understanding what a public comment session is for all of us. It's the first and most important part of democracy. It's overused in the media, but democracy starts here when the general public come here and voice their opinions, good or bad. Politicians have to take it. You wanted the job, good or bad, you're going to have to take the arrows on that perspective. Too bad the Rotary Club left, because thanks to them, I received a large grant to go to UCSB on scholarship for them. So I wanted to thank them, but they're not here. On the issue of, not so much, I want to deal with the immigration issue, but not from the standpoint of what you have on the agenda. Personal oversight. One of the greatest things of this country is for any person in other country to come here to become a U.S. citizen. There's certain requirements. My dad became a citizen when he was 89 years of age. I took him to L.A., took the oath, and I saw it was great. Thousands of people were there. But he had to go through a process. And that's something that is being fought over now. It's not the fault of anyone coming to this country to get a better life for themselves. Welcome here to to the United States. But there is a process. Many are on hold right now in that process because of the flood created by a political party. Let's be honest, Democratic Party wanted extra votes. These flood the country with people, and we paid for it, the working people. None or not, so we paid for it and we're paying for it now. There has to be a stop, there has to be a process, and there has to be a responsibility taken for the party that screwed up the system. Straight out. I'm a straight shooter. It's caused pain, division, and heartache for all of us. because we care about this country. I respect those who want to come here, bring their children. Let's do it the right way. I hope you have the guidance and the intelligence enough to work on these processes to help everyone. We have a large population that work in the agriculture community. We need the help, fine. But we also need to have working groups among agriculture business, government, Fed, county, federal, to get the job done in respect, in total respect of the people who want a future here. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. You did in 3 minutes. Gary Hall, followed by Ignacio Nash Moreno.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and the citizens of Santa Maria. My name is Gary Hall. I am a resident of Rancho Buena Vista Mobile Estates at 2135 North Railroad Avenue here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Manufactured Homeowners Team, or NSBIT. Our primary goal remains to provide protection to all Santa Maria mobile home residents presently living in an unregulated rental market. The 2020 Model Lease and Enforcement Agreement, with all their flaws, have proven to be ineffective in protecting homeowner equity and maintaining mobile home housing, affordable mobile home housing, which of course is what it was originally intended to do. The most recent example is its provision to increase rent per the August CPI, and this year that's 3.5%. Of course, the 2026 cost of living adjustment is only expected to increase Social Security benefits by maybe 2.7%. How are seniors on fixed income expected to keep pace with their rent increases alone, which consumes the entire Social Security increase? Over 3 years ago, this council passed a motion with the intention of improving the 2020 Model Lease or replacing it. The improvement attempt has failed. We believe it is now time to look at replacing the Model Lease with an honest-to-goodness mobile home rent stabilization program. A uniform, mandatory, and enforceable program much like those in our neighboring cities and county jurisdictions. A program that protects the residents by maintaining affordability while still providing the park owner with a fair return. We also still believe Santa Maria mobile home seniors living in senior parks deserve the same protection from conversion to all-age parks that is now being provided to the seniors in unincorporated Santa Barbara County. Now, 13 months later, after bringing this issue to your attention, I'm pleased to report that based on recent communications with the Santa Maria Community Development personnel, this issue is being researched. I remain hopeful that a new or revised ordinance will soon be introduced like what was used by the Santa Barbara County. It's time, no, it's past time to add both mobile home rent stabilization and senior mobile home park conversion prevention to a near-term future meetings agenda. We need your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Ignacio Nash Moreno, who is the chairman of the Santa Maria Public Airport Board. Good evening.
Hello, City Council members. I'm done. I gotta go back, sorry. Hello, City Council members, Mayor Patino. For our community members who do not know who I am, my name is Ignacio Nash Moreno, and for the last 3 years, I have been your acting Santa Maria Public Airport CEO and board president. I felt it important to come here today and share the amazing progress the airport has seen in the last few years. Progress which contributions of it is shared with not only our board and staff, but with our city, county, and the hundreds of thousands of citizens here in the Santa Maria Valley and surrounding regions. Together, we have transformed a once sleepy and arguably pretty sad airport into an area of active development and new services. Using my time, I would like to touch on these developments. Over the weekend, we held a successful Airfest, even with the constraints from the government shutdown. The visiting pilots for this show had an opportunity to land on our newly renovated runway and taxi their aircraft on our newly renovated taxiway. Projects that we are looking to expand this coming year to fully renovate the entirety of the runway and taxiways. Crowds of people had a chance to see the ongoing renovation and branding change project on our airport hotel that is currently going through. Planes of Fame Air Museum got to show off their football field's worth of concrete foundation that was recently poured. That will be the location of the new Planes of Fame Museum. In front of our parking lot, solar panels are being installed that will offset our ever-growing electrical needs. Our terminal building is also being updated and refreshed. Our customs building is nearing completion, which will give the opportunity for private travel to other countries straight from Santa Maria. And for everyone else looking to travel outside of the country or to the East Coast or pretty much anywhere, we now proudly offer twice daily flights to Phoenix Sky Harbor, which allows you to make single connection flights to hundreds of destinations. And yes, that includes Mexico. And yes, it is similar in price to San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara, but we have free parking. So. And this is only the beginning. We are currently working with the city staff to update our airport-specific plan, an update that will get us closer to building the business park this region needs, and pads for our air tanker base that our state and country rely on when fires break out. So thank you all for your time. Just wanted to share that out. Thank you for hearing my not-so-subtle bragging of the airport that I am proud to represent. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank all the board for all the help that they give us, and we certainly support what the airport board is doing. Thank you.
Yes.
Now we'll move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion? No? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
I have a motion to approve the consent calendar with a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto. And Mayor Patino.
Aye. The next item on the agenda is the continuation of the appointments to the Recreation and Parks Commission. Assistant City Clerk Alexandra will be giving the staff report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. The request before you tonight is to make an appointment to the Recreation and Parks Commission. I will present the commission for consideration of the appointment and the City Council's ratification. The Recreation and Parks Commission has one vacancy with an unexpired term ending January 2027. Staff received 5 applications. Councilmember Soto will have the opportunity to make the appointment. The appointee will serve the unexpired term ending January 2027. Following the appointment, it will then be confirmed by the mayor with ratification by the City Council.
Thank you. Councilmember Soto?
Madam Mayor, I believe I was wanting to appoint Yolanda to the commission, and I don't know if you had time to connect with her.
Had time to what?
To connect with her?
Yes, I did. In fact, I connected with all 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
We sat, it was amazing. There was 5 people that were so different and yet so would be able to serve. I was really, and in fact, I think I've told a couple of members, we have people that would be great as appointments and even appointments for CDBG. So yes, I was. So would you like to make the nomination?
Yes, I would like to nominate her, please.
Okay, Yolanda, what?
Let me see her last name.
Yolanda Zamora?
Yes,
Zamora? Okay.
Zamora. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll accept the nomination and I'll second that. And any discussion from the council? If not, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Mayor Patino?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez?
Aye.
Councilmember Flores?
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Is Yolanda here?
No,
She's
she
not.
was
Oh.
in an auto accident.
Okay, thank you. The next item is a public hearing to consider the adoption of an ordinance amending Title 12 zoning of the municipal code. This presentation will be given by Shannon Dow, Director of Community Development. Good evening, Ms. Dow.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. Tonight, we're bringing you the latest in accessory dwelling unit updates. As you likely recall, Sacramento has been very proactive in passing new legislation with which we must comply. So I will highlight just a few of the changes they made. This reflects the changes made by 6 separate bills from both the Assembly and the Senate. The first of the most salient changes they've made is that multifamily projects will now be allowed to build up to 8 detached ADUs. So this is a reflection of what that would look like. And that increases the limit from 2, which was previous, to 8. Next up, the cities will not be able to deny a permit to legalize an unpermitted ADU or JADU that was constructed prior to January 1st of 2020 that is in violation of building standards. So assuming they can be brought up to code and be deemed safe to live in, we must issue them a permit after they have complied with those ramifications. If it is substandard and not permittable, so here's an example of, the electrical is sparking and the structure is falling down, we do have some ability to have those demolished. And finally, we have the Starter Home Revitalization Act. So on existing multifamily, as well as vacant single-family parcels, so if there's a single-family parcel in a neighborhood, these can be subdivided without discretionary review or a hearing. And those can be divided in up to 10 lots, which may then be sold individually. So if you can picture, a quarter-acre lot in a single-family neighborhood, that could be subdivided by up to 10 and sold individually. The minimum lot size on that is 1,200 square feet. That is for the lot, not for the unit on it. And the cities do have one option here. While 10 units can be built on this under the state laws, we do have the option to opt out of allowing for ADUs and JADUs to be built on these lots that are created through this act. So we are doing that in the proposal before you tonight, because the alternative would be to have up to 30 units on those single-family lots in existing neighborhoods. The proposal before you tonight would be to waive the first reading and introduce the ordinance with the follow-up for adoption next month. If you have any questions, I am available.
Any questions?
No. I guess. Oh, I'll put one.
Go ahead. Jessica,
Regarding parking, was there any changes? I know that was like, I need to throw it.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, no, there are not. This, once again, limits and really prevents any ability by the local jurisdiction to have any control over the parking situation.
Okay, can you share that simply and to the camera, because I do get a lot of calls and comments about
do we, and
why the city of
our
Santa Maria
police
is not
department does as well. Absolutely, sir.
They can call Shannon.
plain, simple.
Yes, certainly if there are safety concerns such as people blocking driveways, that is something that our PD can address with the parking enforcement arm. However, we are not allowed under the state laws to require parking for these ADUs. So they're just kind of crammed in with everything that exists in the single family neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
and thank you for the question, Mr. Escobedo. What's funny, because, well, it's not funny, because we don't have enough parking in our neighborhoods. And I see people parked on corners, which does not allow for accessibility for a wheelchair to go any place on that sidewalk. And so, and it used to be, you'd think, who's parking on these corners that would do this? But now people just don't have any choices. And I even see a lot of people just double parking on the streets. And some streets are wide enough, but a lot of our streets are not, so.
Right.
Anyway, so I will open a public hearing. Are there any requests to speak, Madam Clerk?
There are not.
Are there any written comments?
There were not, no.
Okay. I will close public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve 14A.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. I probably should vote no
Jennifer,
on
no.
that, shouldn't I?
It's a no.
Motion carries anyway.
Should have seconded that one, though.
Okay. We will now move to the regular business portion of the agenda. The next item is the 2025 Leisure Needs and Public Art 5-Year Master Plan. And this presentation will be given by Art Thatcher, a consultant for the City of Santa Maria.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm happy to be here tonight to introduce Mr. Thatcher to you and the project that he's been working on with us for the last several months. As you know, every 5 years, the Recreation and Parks Commission and the department get together to try to survey the community and find out what their interests are as far as leisure needs go. So we can use that plan and that input to look at our park system over the next 5 years. This year, we incorporated the element of public art, since that task has been relegated to the Park Commission. It's been something they've taken on very seriously. So as part of Mr. Thatcher's and his company's assessment, it was to also include questions about public art. I want to compliment Barry Dunn, the corporation that Mr. Thatcher represents. I feel this was probably one of the better outreach efforts that was made across the community. As he goes through the program, he'll identify some of the efforts that they made. But between the consultant and staff at Recreation and Parks, we did a great job getting out and engaging with our community, finding out what they were interested in. So with that, I'll leave it to Mr. Thatcher.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor, members of council, thank you for the opportunity. As he said, I'm Art Thatcher. I'm with Barry Dunn, and I had the pleasure of doing the original Parks and Recreation Master Plan back in 2019. And so I was very pleased to have this opportunity. I will kind of give you an introduction and talk about the purpose and the goal. We'll go through the project approach, our public engagement, the recreation assessment, our goals and objectives, the update of the public art master plan, and then kind of next steps as we go through this process. So one of the things, the purpose of the plan really, as we identified at the beginning of the project, was the update, the 2019 leisure needs and public art assessment. We really wanted to conduct a really robust public engagement and make sure that we updated the goals, objectives, and the action steps. So it was a 5-step process, and I'm not going to read all of these, but we started with data collection. We did our engagement, analyzed the materials from the engagement, developed an action plan, and then presented those to the staff and to the public. We're here tonight with the final reports. So it was a 1-year time frame. We started last September, and we're here now in October to present the final plan for you. So as we looked at our data collection, we looked at demographics and demographic profile, and we were asked to make sure that we included Santa Barbara County as well as San Luis Obispo County in our analysis so that we could look at all three. So we looked at your overall population growth over the next 5 years, and then also looked at your age distribution in those age groups. You will see that the city of Santa Maria in the youth population as well as in your young adult population is greater than the two counties. So we also looked at national trends and local trends. I'm sorry, these are state and local. So we looked at adult fitness activities compared to the state here, as well as adult sports activities. And you can see that walking for exercise, weightlifting, and swimming are really your top three fitness activities, which also follows along the same with the state. Basketball is your number one adult sports activity, followed by golf and then soccer. And you can see that in the state, golf is a little bit higher than it is the highest out of those as we look at it. So we also use national trends. So the National Sports and Fitness Association, they do 5-year trend growths, And so we're able to look at team sports, racket sports, aerobic activities, individual activities, and then outdoor activities. And it gives us the number of participants in 2023, which at the time was the earliest data that we had, and then that 5-year growth. And you can see that there's good growth throughout. One of the things that I point out when I show this is that you can see that pickleball is really one of the fastest growing sports in the country. It added 35% to last year. However, the thing that you need to point out is as you look at the total participation, tennis is still 10 million participants above pickleball. So it's growing as we move through the process. So it's something to keep track of, but we can't just discount tennis as we look through this process. So as we looked at engagement, we did in-person engagement. We did a staff SWOT analysis. We did focus groups. We did leadership interviews, and then held some public workshops, as well as the pop-up events that the staff provided information from us for. And so as we look at the at those leadership interviews, some of those priorities that we heard from our leadership interviews over the next 5 years, developing new programs, not just eliminating existing programs, securing appropriate funding, enhancing the public art, access and addressing service gaps, making sure that we duplicate enterprise funding as we look through this process, and then improving active recreation and aligning growth and services. We asked about some of the key issues: diversity within the community, expanding youth, especially in the arts and the cultures. The perception, the use of funding was one of the barriers, access, as well as communication, and then providing services within the current budget were those issues that were identified. As we talked to the focus groups and asked about additional programming, art and STEM were some of those top programs, as well as the visual and performing art classes, as well as after-school programs. We asked about additional facilities and amenities that would help increase programs and services. So an additional community center within walking distance of the community, expanding the fields and your gym space, as well as possibly adding additional splash pads, as well as pickleball courts, and then improving transportation. Oops, I'm sorry. Pushed the wrong button. Here we go. So then we asked about priorities over the next 5 years. And so focusing on accessibility, safety, and community engagement, enhancing staffing and the budget, improving communication efforts, improving programming and service for youth, seniors, and the diverse cultural groups, modernizing your facilities and your parks, as well as fostering a community identity through large-scale cultural events, arts, and partnerships to strengthen the pride and your engagement from the community, and then expanding transportation to improve program opportunities. So we hosted some workshops where we used an online tool, Menti, to get feedback from those participants, as well as open conversation. And so we asked about new programs and activities, and you can see those workshops fell along with the same as as what we heard from the focus groups. Outdoor recreation programs, visual arts, festivals, were some of those top programs and activities. And the new spaces, again, walking paths, a gymnasium, indoor soccer space, pickleball courts, as well as bike paths, and possibly an all-wheels park. So we used an online engagement tool called Social Pinpoint, which allowed us to seek information from the community at large one of the nice things about Social Pinpoint is that it is translatable into 60 different languages, kind of at the click of a button. So you can click it and it'll translate all the questions, and then it translates it back for us in English as we compile all the data. And the great thing is we had 1,899 individual users that went on the site, almost 2,800 site visits, and just under 1,400 total contributions. There was a survey on there. There was a budget prioritization tool where we listed several projects, and the participants had $100 that they could spend on those projects to help prioritize those. And then there was an ideas wall where people could put ideas up, and other participants could, kind of like Facebook, they could thumb up it or thumb down. They could comment on it. And then we had an interactive map where you could go onto the map, drop a pin on the map, and leave a comment, either where you recreate, where you saw a need for maybe components or activities, or where there may be something lacking. And so through the survey, we asked the highest priorities. You can see the top three were really close, that youth sports, adult activities, teen activities, and active aging, as well as youth activities, were all in those in that top group of priorities. So we also asked about how important the availability of local recreation programs, activities, and services were, and you can see that that 74% of the respondents felt that it was either important or very important to have access to recreation programs, activities, and services. So then we also, through the budgeting tool, you can see that that expanding youth and teen programs, expanding special events and cultural activities, and building an outdoor entertainment venue were those top priorities through the budget tool. And so of the 180 responses that we received, it allocated about $17,000, a little over $17,000 towards those programs. So this is a shot of the interactive map, and you can see the pins that were dropped there. And there were 4 categories that they could drop pins. As I mentioned, currently recreate, where you would like to see public art, where you currently recreate, where there are recreation opportunities, and then where you'd like to see an outdoor entertainment venue. And so, kind of in conclusion, with Social Pinpoint, extensive community feedback, outdoor activities, teen programming, and youth sports were the highest, have had the highest participation. Adult activities and youth sports related also had high program priorities. Most of the respondents emphasized the importance of local recreation programs. Strong support for expanding recreation programs across all age groups, particularly focusing on more inclusivity, accessibility, and cultural enrichment. Improving and modernizing outdoor spaces, as well as with the budget priority tool, looking at that investment in youth programs and outdoor entertainment. So we also did a recreation program assessment, and I'm not going to read all of these, but the goal really of the assessment was to guide the delivery of programs and services, and how that contributes to the community. And so, looking at, kind of that enhancing regional programming through a systematic approach to that analysis and assessment, identifying program categories, and then guidance in determining the most effective and efficient programs and their delivery services. So we also asked about, looked at where there were opportunities to expand programming. And so preschool programs was one area that came about, promoting inclusive events and balancing offerings for teens, and then evaluating your programs effectively were opportunities that that the department has in the programming realm. So then we looked at your core program areas, and so the list on the left-hand side are your core program areas, and then we looked at those target ages that the programs were being, what the primary program focuses were, and so it allowed us to see where there may be gaps and where there may be secondary opportunities, such as in that adult programming 18 plus. Those opportunities for to include seniors in some of those programs. So we also looked at your cost recovery and how they're broken, you know, how the tiers are currently established. And so the tier 1, which is the bottom color, that really dark blue down on the bottom, that is fully community benefit with the highest subsidy. And then your tier 5, which is the yellow at the very top, is a primary individual benefit with the lowest or no subsidy. And you can see through your core program categories, you know, how the different programs in those categories broke into your cost recovery levels. And so finally, we did an action table. We pulled the table together and set goals for your programs, and looked at a timetable to address those. This is just a sample of what we had in the recreation assessment report that we provided to staff. So after collecting all that data and doing a visioning session with the staff, we developed 4 goals to continue to improve organizational efficiency, to improve and enhance programming and service delivery, to invest in current and new amenities to increase programming and service delivery, and then to improve your financial sustainability. And so from there, we developed objectives and then action steps to address each one of the objectives. Tonight, I'm just going to you've been given a copy of the full report, and I'm just going to kind of touch on the goals and the objectives. So that first goal of continuing to improve your organizational efficiency. So maintaining your existing quality of service goals, maintaining your existing quality standards for your programs and services, staffing appropriately to meet demand and maintain your established quality of service, increasing potential partnerships within the community, and then maintain and keep current your department's standards of operations and your policies. So the second goal was to improve and enhance programming and service delivery. And so those objectives were enhancing special event programming, continuing to grow programs and services accessible to citizens of all abilities, continuing to address recreation programs and activities that meet the needs of the community, exploring opportunities for non-traditional recreation and serving as a primary gateway for citizens and visitors to access those activities, and then utilizing technology to improve your customer service delivery and your efficiencies. So in that third goal of investing in your current infrastructure, maintaining your existing facilities, parks, trails, and open space, adding an indoor recreation space, upgrading your comfort and convenience and customer service amenities at your existing facilities, developing additional outdoor recreation facilities and amenities to meet needs, addressing current and future needs for athletic fields, and then monitoring your ADA access and to your trails, your parks, beaches, and facilities. And then goal 4 was exploring additional funding through the pursuit of grants, continuing your current cost recovery and revenue generating practices, and then partnering with other service providers when possible to develop program services and facilities to meet the demand and growth and growing trends within the community. And so there's kind of and so as the other part of this, we did the public art master plan update. And so some of the kind of specifics that I wanted to kind of touch on through the survey, and we asked about familiarity with public art, and 70% of the respondents were familiar with the public art program that the city currently has. We asked about the degree with which they support additional areas to display public art. 71% of the respondents supported additional art, public art within the community. We asked about what do you think of the department's priorities should be for leisure services over the next 5 years. And as part of that, some of those top responses were enhancing public art, dedicating part of the enterprise fund to go to public art, negotiating with developers to install public art, and then fostering a community identity through large-scale events, arts, and partnerships that will strengthen the local pride and engagement in the community. So what we ended up doing is really just validating that the 2019 master plan goals were still relevant, and that great success has been made towards reaching some of those goals. Many of them are not a one-time goal, it's a continuous goal. So continuing to invest in those 7 goals from the original master plan, and then looking for growth areas as development continues. And so it was a quick synopsis of a year's worth of work, and I appreciate your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions of the council?
I do.
Yes. Mrs.
I have a
Aguilar
question about
Hernandez.
the grants. Where are these grants available? Is the first question. And the second question is, are we going to be hiring a grant writer? Because it's a lot of work to apply for these grants. So I guess first is, where are these grants offered, if you've done the research? How do we apply for this grants, and who is applying for the grants?
I have Mr. Posada over here
Okay.
to answer.
Thank you, Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez, for the question. Council members. So typically, we look for grants through the state programs, through the propositions. All the staff grants that have been developed have been done internally at Recreation and Parks. Dennis Smitherman and his team wrote about $15 million worth of grants over the last 5 years. Then the projects that you see coming to fruition now, the Veterans Memorial, the sports complex, the Machado Plaza,
Pocket
battles,
parks.
pocket parks that were all part of funding sources other than the cities. So we do seek those out. When I have conversations with the development community, you know, they're very insistent that we look at for grants, and so we continue that effort. It's a little bit harder to find funding from private foundations for the city, and that's where we partner with the People for Leisure and Youth, our nonprofit partner, and applying for some of those grants. But they're typically smaller in numbers. So we've done a really good job over the last few years applying for grants. We look forward to the residents of the state of California approving another bond measure in the future, and we'll continue to apply for those. We've been very marketable when it comes to applying for funding from the state. Also, I want to recognize the fact that the council and the CDBG committee have been very supportive of using our CDBG funding for park projects, which eventually touch everybody in the community. I want to thank Mr. Thatcher for his report. The recommendation from staff is that the council accept this report and file it. And the Recreation and Parks Commission and department will be using it kind of as their guide for planning over the next 5 years.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I do.
Councilmember Flores?
So thank you for your report. What I didn't see in there that I get a lot of calls about is dog parks. Do we not even think about that? Our community, we have members in our community that would love to take their dogs on. We have nowhere for them to really walk their dogs. Sometimes the parks are closed. Our own parks are closed and they can't walk their dogs. So I did not see not one dog park in there.
And this is one of the few communities that dog parks really did not come up in the engagement process as a priority.
Okay.
Councilmember Flores, thank you. That's a really good question and a good lead-in. So we've been working with the developers at Bedarabia Plaza, the builders of the new apartment complex that's on the rise above, gosh, I can't remember the name of that development, just behind the police department. And they have built a dog park as part of their fees for parks. So that park is located on a remainder parcel, land that was really just kind of vacant. I believe that the Chamber of Commerce leadership, Santa Maria Valley, kicked off a project there. And I just drove by it today. It looks great. It's going to be a great addition. It is on the south end, but still, it's recognizing that we do have people that want to take their dogs to the park.
Yeah. I hear about it all the time. They drive as far as to Morro Bay to take their dogs to a park.
Waller Park has a dog park.
Great dog park.
Yeah, it's a big dog park, yeah.
Only a
National
few.
recognized park.
I
Yeah,
don't have any in my area.
yeah,
Not in your district
Yeah.
or my district. No.
yeah.
You want one in your district?
It belongs to the county
It belongs
as
to
well
the
it
county.
should, but it does have a good-sized dog park out there.
I'll wait for one in District 2.
Any other questions? Oh, Ms. Soto?
In the presentation, there was additional information on the public arts, like master plan, but I didn't see a specialized section in that in the report.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the very end of that.
So in the report that is attached to our agenda, I didn't see a section solely pertaining to the arts, like the art master plan. But I did see you reference that significantly towards the tail end of the presentation. Would we be able to get those slides?
Yeah,
or-
there's a separate document.
Oh, okay. Could we get those sent our way,
Yes.
please?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then in your presentation, you talked about filling the gaps that were identified, and I'm assuming those gaps are that they coincide with the growing trends of each particular sport activity, and also the way in which community members decided to allocate their $100 essentially.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from the council? And this is just a receive and file, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next item is the continuation of the discussion regarding the request to form an immigration ad hoc committee. Assistant City Manager Chun Woo will lead the discussion.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. This is continued from the September 16th meeting, which is a discussion on the request to form an immigration ad hoc committee. So the discussion will be between the city council members.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. Ms. Flores?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this back at another time. For me, I would like to know what this committee would do, and I don't know any of that. I've looked for other cities that have had committees, and I haven't found one, so we could kind of base it off of that. I know that Guadalupe did a SB 54, but it was a resolution for immigration in their city. So I'd like to make a motion to table this item.
Do I have a second?
I came prepared to read and
Okay,
perhaps
okay,
answer some
okay.
questions that you may have.
Okay,
The question is the request is to go back and then find out more information on what's this committee?
For me.
But the information, I don't think that staff is going to present it to us because
I don't mind.
they are looking at us to
Yeah, we can
have a
second that.
discussion
Okay.
on it.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second to table this. Is there a certain date you would like to have them come back?
Maybe in November, at our last council meeting in November.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
I do, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Before we move forward with the vote, I'd like to read to you some things that I came prepared with, if that's all right with my colleagues. So I'll start by just framing why I made this proposal. As we all know and believe, Santa Maria's strength really lies in its people, in its residents, and that includes the thousands of immigrant families who contribute to our workforce, economy, and community. In recent months, we've seen renewed anxiety stemming from federal immigration enforcement actions. These national policies have had real impacts here locally in our schools, businesses, and neighborhoods. And I truly believe that our role as a council is to listen, to understand, and to ensure that our local government is responding appropriately and compassionately to the needs of all residents. The purpose of this committee that I proposed is to create a structured space where we can hear directly from community members and stakeholders about the implications of federal immigration actions. It's more about gathering information and understanding how federal policies impact our city and our residents and what we can do to mitigate harm and strengthen the trust between local government and our community members that are being most impacted. This is also about collaboration, bringing together residents, nonprofit leaders, business owners, educators to really help inform the council's understanding and also perhaps even future decisions around how we support our immigrant community. In terms of your question about the structure and the function, I'm proposing that 2 council members serve on this ad hoc committee, supported by a staff member from the city manager's office, where we would meet as regularly as bi-monthly or monthly, depending on the need, and to keep the meetings open to the public with interpretation available. This committee would also have a regular presence at the COIN meetings, which are meetings hosted by the Fund for Santa Barbara, where elected officials, educators, nonprofit leaders already come together to collaborate on immigration issues. And those meetings are quarterly. Who we would engage, we would invite diverse voices to the table. Residents, agricultural and business leaders, nonprofits, school administrators, healthcare providers, and as well using this opportunity through this ad hoc committee to see what our neighboring cities and counties have done and if they can share any firsthand experience and insights. That way, we are able to build bridges across sectors and ensure that our policy decisions reflect with what's happening on the ground. This committee would then report back to the council with findings and perhaps even recommendations. This will ensure transparency and allow the full council to stay informed and to be responsive. The ad hoc structure would also allow us to pilot this work, learn from it, and decide how we move forward. This would be an opportunity for us as a council, as a city, to lead, to listen deeply and respond thoughtfully, and to strengthen trust between our immigrant community and local government. And so that's why I am asking respectfully that my colleagues support in the forming of this ad hoc committee so that we can begin this ongoing and very necessary conversation. And so I know that there's a motion in a second, and I'll pass it on to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So any further discussion? And I guess, before I think we get there, I don't know where a city council stands legitimately in order to make even recommendations or to make decisions that we really can't be making. I don't know what legitimizes us in immigration. I know that when we've done housing and H-2A housing and how we did that and how we learned as we went along. But I think I would like to learn more about what we can do. And I know we have an attorney sitting here, but before we form an ad hoc committee, because once you form that committee, there are expectations you're going to do these things. And before that happens, I think I want to know exactly how legitimate we can be as a city council. Mr. Escobedo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And one of the reasons why I decided to second this motion was that basically what do we have, before this council meeting, we just spent basically the whole weekend to analyze and study and talk with everyone that might be involved in these decisions. So that's part of their job as a representatives. Representatives don't just show up and, make decisions on the top of their heads, or because, there might be something, printed in a piece of paper. We make decisions informed. We reach out. I'm particularly, actually, the only council member sitting here that has visited his entire district. Last election, close to 8,000 people. And part of those decisions is that you make an impact in the community. So having in the council agenda report description of the item, the city council would discuss a request to form an immigration ad hoc committee. Doesn't tell me anything, doesn't tell me what's the deal. And I know, council member, sort of that you explain right now what's your idea, what's your vision for this committee. But it would have been beneficial for everybody that we knew before sitting here and really analyze, do not make rush decisions, especially in something so important as immigration. By the way, only immigrant sitting on this table and the only council member that has gone through the immigration process. When you go through that, you gotta you gotta be careful on what's going on. So I keep my second on this one and looking forward to talking about this committee in this November.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
In hearing this discussion before the vote, is what I'm hearing from the council that you would like for me to draft something and include it in the agenda? Because in the staff report, I believe that it was left vague because the staff were giving me the opportunity to share with the council why I made this proposal, and then using this meeting or today's meeting as a opportunity for us to have this discussion and then decide how we move forward. And so I think it would be nice to know, not just for this action, but also for future actions, that when a council member's requesting that something get added to the agenda, that there be clarity to staff on what we expect to see on the report outs. Because I think that could have saved us a lot of time. And to also be quite fair, we've had new residents come last meeting and this meeting eager to hear this discussion amongst us. And I want to make sure that we honor them and that we also honor the process that we as a council would like to see moving forward. And so, like I said, for purposes of this action item and future action items, it'd be helpful to know and have clarity on how we as council can add things to the agenda and what the council expects to read and review prior to the meetings when something is added to the agenda on behalf of a council member, so that it's not left vague and then left for it to essentially fail upon it being discussed. And so I don't know if that's me looking at our city attorney. I don't know if that's an answer that you can answer, Madam Mayor, but I think that that would be very helpful for us to know.
Madam Mayor,
Mr.
with
Watson?
respect to the
Yeah.
two items, one is process, and that's a process that would be determined by council through council policy. So that is a different discussion. But what we have agendized this evening is a very ambiguous original request. So on behalf of staff, who will have to clearly meet with Councilmember Soto, get an understanding, I would request a delay to probably January or early February so that staff could vet other similar types of things and bring a panoply of options to council, because staff candidly was a bit caught off guard by the breadth of what this could be and the elements that could be incorporated into such a committee. And we don't have a lot of ad hoc committees at this city, and so I would, again, wanting to honor the process, I would request that you would amend your motion to move this back to perhaps February, and we would have the city manager's office take a look at other committees of similar nature and be able to give you an adequate presentation. I think that would be the most appropriate response.
I also would like to make clear that this item that's before us that I propose to the council isn't necessary, because it was brought up by you, Mayor, about what can we do as a local jurisdiction when it comes to these federal policies. And what I'm saying is that it's not for us to change federal law, but to ensure that our local policies and communications and partnership reflect justice, dignity, and safety for all of our residents. And that is definitely and absolutely within our bounds and rule. And so, like I said, Madam Mayor, I know that there is a motion and the second on the floor, and I am happy to work with city staff on bringing something robust at the November meeting as proposed by Councilmember Flores.
Okay. Did you want to change your motion?
Yeah, let's move it to, you said February? February.
Okay. Is that okay with the second? Okay.
Madam Mayor, can I
Yes,
say
Ms.
something?
Flores.
And thank you, Councilmember Soto. And I hear your passion, and I'm passionate for our immigrant community as well. But I don't want an ad hoc committee and then it fail. I'm not saying it's going to fail, but then it fails. I want something that's going to be effective to enrich our community so that they'll know. I go to my community now, to the immigrants that live in my community. I help them. I reach out to them. I'd like to see more outreach to our immigrants that are in our community that have needs. And I'm really all about hands-on. That's why I'm like resistance to this, because I don't want just and I'm not saying you, I just don't want another committee to have another committee. We don't need another committee. We need to do something for our immigrants. And I want to be part of that, but I don't want to be on a committee that we're just spinning our wheels. I want to know, why are we doing this? I haven't seen anything in any city that has had an ad hoc committee they're doing something. I've looked. I researched, I didn't see anything. That's why I was like, what are we going to do different? I want to do something different. I want our council to be different for immigration. We realize they're part of our community, but I don't want this ad hoc committee to fail if it's going to go through. That's my only thing.
Thank you.
Well, this committee would be tasked with drafting
Right.
recommendations for the council on how we could take action.
Do you have 2 council members that would sit on that committee with you now?
Well, that was part of the discussion.
Okay.
But I think what we're saying is that you want more information
Right.
as to what this committee would do and who would sit on it and
Yeah.
what the process would be.
Yeah.
I have difficulty right now getting people to sit on committees, so, okay. Okay, I have a motion
Let
and a
alone
second.
some of us showing up on time.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Flores?
Can you clarify the motion?
Yes, the motion I have is to table the discussion to February 2026.
Thank you. Aye.
And I'll second.
Mayor,
Okay,
And then
Mayor Pro Tem
Opposed?
Escobedo.
second it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we take a roll
Councilmember
call.
Aguilera Hernandez?
So now you're taking roll call, right?
Yes.
roll call.
So
So
did you
was
take
that
roll
your
call?
vote?
Yes.
Was that?
Yeah, just say aye.
So you got a first, I mean, you got a
Aye.
motion and a second, and now you need to take roll call.
And that's what
Yeah.
she did.
That's-
She's
okay.
doing.
I said mine.
She
He
said-
said his.
Yes.
Okay.
Now roll
No,
call.
he said second, that's why we're confused.
Yeah, that was the second, but,
So do
and then
you-
we moved to roll call.
Yes,
Okay.
this is roll
Yeah.
call.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
do you want to,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Councilmember Flores?
Yes.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez?
Aye.
Councilmember Soto?
Aye.
Mayor Patino?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next, do we do the report of the Assistant City Manager? Now, I have people who want to speak on this issue, but, oh, table, okay, table. Okay, table order takes care of that. Thank you. So next, we have a report.
Madam Mayor, before we move on,
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge everybody who's here, who came out in support of our immigrant community, our young people. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to show up and represent some of our community members who are most endangered today and some of our most vulnerable. So I, for one, see you, and I'm so grateful for you being here today.
I want to point out that this was tabled last month.
Excuse me, Mr. Solomon? Okay, thank you. Did you finish, Ms. Sutter?
That was it.
Okay,
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Next will be a report by Assistant City Manager, Mr. Wu.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, first we excuse City Manager Dave Rollins, who couldn't be here, but for the next meeting in November, on November 4th, we have a couple of presentations, quarterly report from the Chamber of Commerce, quarterly business of the quarter. We'll have another update for homelessness and encampment response. We also have a public hearing for updates to the building code, and then also a fourth quarter update from finance. That concludes my report.
Now, we will proceed with the required oral reports from council members. Who would like to begin?
I can begin.
Okay, Mrs. Aguilera Hernandez.
So I've been attending events for the last 6-7 days, so it's going to take a while. On the 14th, I went to the State of the City, which was really informative. We really informed the public of everything that Santa Maria is doing and how busy we are. On Wednesday, October 15th, I went to a ribbon cutting for the first.
We don't have the privilege to wait till next year. Our community is crying right now.
On Wednesday, October 15th, I went to the ribbon cutting for the first flight to Phoenix. On Thursday, October 16th, I went to the ribbon cutting for Homewood Suites grand opening, which was really impressive. It was really great to see that investment come into Santa Maria. On Friday, October 17th, I went to the Fighting Back Santa Maria Conflict Resolution Symposium at Hancock College. And in the afternoon, I went to the reception. Herbert Bolton, who was a founder of the first firefighter union, passed away. He was a firefighter for the city of Santa Maria for a very long time, so I went to his reception. After that, I went to the Air Fest. On Saturday, I went to the Black and White Ball. Sally Lopez sits on the committee, and it's the Mexican Lady Social Club, and they raise money for the Boys and Girls Club. And they also have a queen, which was great to see that. And then on Sunday, I went to the Air Fest at the airport. So I've been really busy every day.
Thank you. Thank you for being busy. Who wants to go next? Ms.
I'll go
Flores?
next. So I went and I toured the homeless encampment on the riverbed with our assistant city manager. and the team, and I went to the CoLab Forum in Paso. I went to the Mayor's Bash that they had October 4th, Cal Cities Conference. I went to the city venues cocktail reception. I went to the Mexican ladies ball that they had. I was a judge. And the ribbon cutting ceremony at our newest hotel that they converted, Homewood Suites.
Thank you. Mr. Escobedo?
I'll make it quick. Nothing to report.
Thank you. Ms. Soto?
You could have joined one of ours.
On Wednesday, October 18th, I attended the A College for All meeting in LA, where we were looking at 2026 state legislative policies that advance higher education access. On Friday, October 17th, I attended the elected leaders homelessness meeting. We had a couple of meetings here, a briefing for the general plan, conversation with finance here in the evening, and I also attended the Black and White Ball.
Thank you, thank you. So September 17th, I did the 3CE annual meeting. For the 17th and 18th, I'm on the policy board. On the 24th, the Marion Foundation Board meeting. On September 26th, I did the North County listening tour. On the 27th, no, I didn't do that. On the 29th, I did my Mayor's Youth Task Force, where I met at Pioneer High School and Santa Maria High School with our team. I did a special City Council Planning Commission and study session. On the 22nd, I attended a LAFCO meeting and a special San Luis Obispo County Fall Forum on energy. On the 4th, I attended the Filipino American History Celebration Month, and I did a meeting with the Developer Impact Fees Workshop here at Shepherd Hall. October 8th through 10th, I attended the League of Cities annual conference, and on the 11th, attended the annual Cops and Cars Show, which had 310 vehicles this year, cars. Let's see, did the State of the City on October 14th. I just really want to compliment all of our department heads. I like the format because it gives each one of the department heads talking about their department and what they do, which is much better than me talking about it, because Mr. Fulgoni, you know so much about roads, you even make it interesting. So I want to thank you. On October 15th, I attended the first flight Santa Maria to Phoenix ribbon cutting. And on the 16th, I had SBCAG in the morning, APCD in the afternoon, and attended the Homewood Suites grand opening, and this is Homewood Suites by Hilton. On the 18th, I attended the Central Coast Air Fest, and that is it. I think I'm losing my voice. Yeah. Mr. Escobedo?
Yeah, just once you're done,
Okay.
I have a...
Tonight, I would like to adjourn tonight's meeting in memory of Herbert Bolton. He was a former firefighter in the city of Santa Maria. We've seen him many times at the podium here. But also Bill Spears, who was a former city of Santa Maria police sergeant, and also a former police chief in Willows, California. Well, we lost two men who've given so much time and energy and love to the city of Santa Maria. Mr. Escobedo?
Yeah, and if I may, I would like to add two names to that.
Yes,
In the
please.
last couple of weeks, I lost a very good friend, one of my bigger supporters, and Mama Elvira. She's mom. She was the mom of a very good friend of mine, Maria Paz. She passed away at 96. 96. Beautiful lady. She was able to tell you if you were not cooking right with just even without seeing it, what you were cooking, just with the smell. She was fantastic, and I had the opportunity of saying goodbye right the night before, a couple of hours before she passed away, and that was. And thank you to Marion Hospital, because they did a great job taking care of her in the last hours. And also the dad of a very good friend of mine, and maybe some of you know Juan Gascon. Maybe you saw it on the news, you saw it on social media. Dad of Edgar Gascon, gentleman that did a lot to Santa Maria and the Central Coast, and also somebody I consider a mentor, somebody who was always willing to give you recommendations and share his knowledge and his wisdom. So just want to, sorry, I don't usually, at this age in my life, you don't lose a lot of your friends, but when you do, it just breaks your heart, and my thoughts and prayers to the families and to our former firefighter and to our former sergeant and everybody who has lost someone they love. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is adjourned.